This week, coming up from the ashes.
And then he just kind of gives up. But while they were down there,
he meant donkey. He meant donkey. Relax. It was donkey.
Oh,
come on, no.
Oh boy. All right. Well, you know what? I get one slip up.
Everybody gets one per month.
Per month. Anyway, so
it was donkey. You donkey.
Yeah.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, people of the court. My name is Arson Clown. I'm your host, not jury, or judge, and welcome to From the Ashes podcast. I have no idea where I'm going with this bit. I was gonna say something cool, like, from a very popular character. There was another character that spawned its very own legacy, but, I just came up with that instead. Anyways, I'm here with, my boys, Mr. Bones, Grim.
I'll have a cheeseburger.
Yeah, I don't know who will get on that.
I'll have a cheeseburger.
A beast burger.
Yeah, sure.
And there's also Grim over there. I don't know what he's doing currently. Probably picking his nose.
Anyway.
I don't know, was that true? You blew your nose?
No, that was a scoff.
It didn't sound like it on this end.
Oh. Anyway.
And, calmly drinking his tea, supervising is, Phoenix. He's got a bit of a cold, so he won't be talking too much. It's completely fine. So I have taken it upon myself to take care of the hosting duties for today. To besmirch the good name of Venom. No, I'm just kidding. We're here to talk about everything symbiotic and Venom-esque. And of course, leading the charge is going to be Grim. I'm just here hosting for some reason. Well, I already explained that reason, but, I don't know where to begin, man. I mean, let's just talk about Venom in general as a character. I'm sure you have nothing but praises, Grim.
Mostly. All right. So, the Lethal Protector, the poison to Peter Parker and Spider-Man, Venom.
For like a couple years, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, hey, he's a versatile character. You can either have him as a straight villain, or you can have him as an antihero. Everyone knows Venom's origin story. Big, church. Peter was, I almost broke the contract. Peter was a rude individual, and, unjustly kicked the symbiote out. He said, I didn't know you were alive, start paying rent. And the symbiote was like, dude, I haven't even been here a month. Then he kicked him out. And then Eddie found him and he was like, hey, I'm not a fan of that Peter Parker guy. And the Venom symbiote was like, neither am I. All right, let's kill him. And he did
like
that.
A bond was forged.
Yeah. And he did that for a little while before, I think it was after Maximum Carnage. Venom was like, all right, Spidey, look, we don't want to fight you anymore. We're going to San Diego.
We hate your guts still.
Yeah. And a lot of stuff happened in the Lethal Protector arc. The Foundation 5 was a thing. I remember very specifically there was a really funny comic panel of Venom in fishing gear, fishing, but he was using like a web, and it was very funny.
I thought he was gonna take it a step farther and use his tongue like a lure.
That would have been funnier. But yeah, no. Everyone loves Venom. No one dislikes Venom except Matt Gargan. But we'll get there. And I mean, yeah, no, Eddie, like sorry, go ahead.
I guess, like, yeah, before you go any further, we should also talk about the fact that Venom was just a suit. He was never planned out to be a whole character who now has this like entire franchise built on top of him. It's kind of like with Sonic Adventure 2 with Shadow. He was supposed to die at the end of that. He was supposed to be a one-off, fall from space, die, sayonara, Shadow, all that. But the support was so strong that now we have our own entire separate subplot for him. Like he
Yeah.
has his own fan base. He had a whole year, which was last year. Like, it's the same thing with Venom, he started out as a simple suit, but the people loved it so much. Well, actually, I guess it was a bit of a flip-flop, wasn't it? I think the reception
When
was good, but some people wanted the classic red and blue back.
when Peter first got the suit, a lot of people didn't like it. So then they created Venom as a way to get the suit off of him, but I think
Yep.
still keep the idea. I think that's what it was.
Yep. And the brilliant Todd brought us this absolute beast. And he, as well, just got a whole following and now has like an entire. He should have a year. When's Year of the Venom happening?
I wish.
Maybe soon, man. You'll get your
Yeah.
dream eventually. But
Eventually.
yeah, no, it's just a whole thing of like, you, like in some cases being more popular than the character they were kind of based off of,
Yep.
and
Yep.
that is definitely in your case. But
Mm-hmm.
I guess
Mm-hmm.
that's in terms of first impressions. Let's talk about that really quick. How was your first impression of Venom, if you can remember it?
My first impression of Venom was the Ultimate Spider-Man video game.
It's good.
Because I saw a clip of him fighting Wolverine, and I saw him beat the sleeves off of Wolverine, and I was like, whoa, that guy looks like Spider-Man, but like way stronger. and then I just kind of like kept sort of looking into him and stuff, and like, yeah, I mean, I eventually saw, the third Raimi movie. I saw him there. Obviously, I was a kid, so I was just like, wow, he's cool. But I always remember specifically when I was a kid, I was like, he should be like bigger. He always looked too skinny in those movies. Um, Now obviously that's just like a preference thing because I know I'm not a fan of it, but I know Todd McFarlane, he drew Venom as like not that much bigger than Spider-Man, and I'm not a fan of that. I don't like that. I much prefer it when Venom is not like a 30-foot tall hulking monster, but like a good like 9 to 10 feet tall. He's pretty buff. Just like
It was like
around Hulk
his
size.
rivals proportions.
Pretty much. Maybe a little bit smaller, but like around that is my perfect Venom size. Um, but yeah. Ever since I saw Venom, I just fell in love. He's so cool. I love how he can be both incredibly intimidating and insanely goofy at the same time. He can be so silly.
Correct, madam.
Correct, madam.
All
Um,
right, before you go flying off the handle again, let's
yep.
involve Zombie a little bit. Zombie, what was your first exposure to the Lethal Protector, if you can remember it?
Um, that would have to be the movie. Well,
The third movie, yeah?
no. Um, so I knew of him beforehand. Like, I never really read any of the comics, so it was never from that. It was probably in some game, to be honest. And I couldn't tell you which one because, I've slept, you know, probably a decade since then at least. Um,
Understandable.
but like I recall being like, okay, like obviously since I didn't read the comics, I was like, well, obviously I don't know where he's from, what's his story. Um, I knew he was a rival of Spider-Man sometimes. Sometimes not. Sometimes he was. So I was kind of like, well, either the character has, off days. He's like, today I woke up and chose villain. Or, I guess today woke up and chose, yeah, I guess I'll be your friend today. Or where I'm seeing him is just at different points in the character's journey. It's like, I don't know which. I don't really care. Um, I like the concept. I like the concept of a intelligence type symbiotic thing that can bond to a host and augment them, but not be like complete, like take them over, but potentially, I don't know if you know what I mean. Like the whole, because
Yeah, it's like a full symbiotic bond where they
yeah,
both mutually benefit.
but they also have the ability to like, completely take over your body if they want to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, I've not seen it the other way around though. I don't know if it's possible for the host to completely like dominate the symbiote and be like, no, you will do what I say, no ifs, ands, or buts. Like I don't know if it could go both ways.
It can.
Okay. I said I've never seen that, and I'm sure
Mhm.
there's one of the because I know there's hundreds of symbiotes out there.
There are
But
many. Also, just got a bit of a message from our spokesperson. One, I think Grim talked bad about the Todd father.
Oh,
I think
okay,
it was
yeah.
when the proportions or
I
so. I
don't.
don't know.
Yeah,
Something
I
like
don't
that.
like his art style for Venom.
I think his art style is pretty good.
I mean, the art style is good. I just don't like it for Venom.
Understandable. And second,
Todd McFarlane's Spidey
uh,
is great though.
oh, very nice. And then second, the first time he saw Venom was in the animated series, which I believe is the classic one, which was a very interesting introduction for Venom. Uh, he was, I, dang it, now, now I remember.
The semi.
He was driving the semi, and he honk the horn and like
Yes, he
wave at
did.
Peter.
He did. I love that characterization for Venom. Lord, I hate that design.
You don't
The
like
the
you don't like
s-
the red and blue?
No, I do not. It annoys me so much. I like the snake eyes. I like the slits in the eyes. That part's fine. His head looks like a chewed up gumball. I hate it so much.
I mean, I don't know. I kind of like the red and blue. Like it looks like, I don't know. It looks unique. I think it
I
looks
can
unique.
understand that. I can understand that. I can understand that, but I do not like it. I do like
I
his
get,
personality though.
yeah, like he's got the whole sass thing and going extreme pettiness. um,
uh,
I guess going off the heels of that, what about Unlimited? Since they kind of loosely tied that to animated a little bit, not really.
so that was the first time I saw Venom as like the hulked out, rage kind of like style that he gets portrayed in sometimes. That is one of my favorite Venom designs. Unlimited has its problems, The Carnage design, atrocious. I hate that design a lot.
Kind of
But the
looks
Venom
like
design,
he kind of looks like Carnage looks like a freaking Revenant kind of. I kind of like the design for that. I'm gonna be honest, like it's not traditional like good Carnage
yeah,
that we're used to, but
yeah,
like I like how unique and Revenant. Like he looks like a demon.
he does. He does. Um, I think the general design is okay. I don't like how many bones are sticking out of him. Like that just doesn't feel Carnage to me. Like why does he need bones sticking out? You know what I mean? But the
Oh,
lankiness and
maybe
like the
Cletus maybe Cletus had some influence on that.
I don't know,
Stick some bones out. Why? Just do it.
aura farming. Um,
He did it wrong, I guess, like in terms of like Carnage wise, but I guess it led to him a unique design, I suppose.
yeah. But yeah, no, I really like that Venom design just because of how like roided out he looks.
Ooh. I actually, well, to answer my own question, I think the first time I saw Venom was actually in the do you remember a game called Spider-Man Friend or Foe?
Yes! Ah, I love that game.
That whole opening scene where like he pushes himself off of like Venom's mouth. Like,
Yeah,
ooh,
yeah. Woo!
stinky. He was quite far into the game. But like that was that was like my first exposure to a lot of villains, really. That game had like nearly everybody in it. Interesting too that they made freaking Mysterio the main villain of that as well.
I mean, they were
But
probably running off the high of Shattered Dimensions. I think that came out
was the,
after Shattered Dimensions, right?
I'm I'm pretty sure that came before Shattered Dimensions. Friend or Foe
Wasn't
is a pretty old game if I remember.
wasn't Friend or Foe like 2009?
It was 2007, at least from what Phoenix
Oh
is saying.
wow.
So it was pretty early. Because I know because Friend or Foe was on the PS2. That's what I played it on.
Oh yeah, I played it on the 360.
I didn't play it at all.
You never
Thank you,
truly
Zhombi.
lived.
Look, if there's a lot of things that people are like, "Hey, if you haven't done this, you haven't truly lived," then I am so far down the hole of not having lived. Why do you think I'm a zombie
Fair
And
enough.
now
or a
Bones.
Baron of Bones? Because I've been unalived so many times that that's all that's left. I've got no more to give people.
But
Well,
yeah,
I guess
no,
this is a more
that was a
specific
great kids
question.
game.
Yeah, very great game. I miss it dearly. Probably will never be able to play it again. I guess we'll just wait and see if companies finally decide to not be so stingy about
Activision.
uh freaking backwards compatibility or freaking I don't know, emulate. Come on, emulators
Yeah.
exist. And fans are doing the work for you at this point. It's just stupid. Yeah, that was my first exposure to him, and then I went into it a lot more. Uh, One of the most notable, well, the two notable ones that have really stuck out early on for Venom were Anti-Venom from Edge of Time and Venom from Web of Shadows, because that was my first exposure to Venom as more of like a we're going to take over the world kind of Venom, just infecting everybody, and it was a whole trip. And then Edge of Time was more personal, with Anti-Venom straight up nearly killing Peter, and then later on turning into Atrocity, which I still miss dearly. He was an awesome design, very scary.
Oh, speaking of
Oh,
fusions, um, Spider-Man for the PS1, that Venom, you know, surf the web, surf the web,
great
and then
attitude. I loved his attitude.
I feel like that
I never got to play it, unfortunately, but like I saw
me,
some clips later on because I was on a Venom craze. I looked everything I could
yeah,
about him.
I never was able to play that, but that that Venom will always be the best video game Venom. He literally kidnapped Mary Jane, didn't kill her, just kidnapped her so he could kill Spider-Man and then be like, "Oh, you're the one who stole what was it? Octavius's tech? I don't remember." But, found out he was wrong. My bad guy. All right, let's team up. Immediately sensed Carnage and then jumped out a window. And I'm pretty sure that's the last we see of him until the very end of the game.
That whole game was a trip. Although
Uh,
a lot of early games back then just were you literally just hopped from one plot point to another.
yeah,
There was no time for exposition. There was no fancy cutscenes that lasted 15 minutes. You just did it, and then you go
Yep.
and then you see this character jump out a window, and you don't see him again until the very end of the game.
yeah.
Yeah, I miss that. I miss how like insane the plots were. You literally just flopped all over the place.
Yeah.
Um. All right. I'm I'm flopping at my host privileges here. Hold on. Let me move on to the next question. Uh, I would have said, what do you think about? Well, actually, no. Yeah, let's just go with that. What's your opinion on Tom Hardy Venom?
He's he's fine. He plays up the goofiness of Venom pretty well. Um, but I don't know. Like this might sound crazy, but he just doesn't feel as threatening as what Venom should be, in my opinion. And they also had plenty of their own mishaps with like Carnage being taller and like just I didn't like that.
Blow out my
Carnage just
eardrums.
overall. um, I think the best one is probably the first one because that's where he feels the most Venom, if that makes sense. Like, he's a little bit goofy, but he's still pretty serious. The fight scene with Riot's great. That's a really
I
fun
was
one.
about to say it's okay. You can just say you like the first movie more because Riot's in there.
Well, I mean, yeah, no, I like the first movie more, but I will say this. I will say this. I'm so glad that they didn't just immediately go the Carnage route because that gave hype to Carnage, which ended up backfiring. But I mean, hey, still props for that. And it introduced a symbiote that literally no one would know if you hadn't read the comics.
What say you, Bones? What do you think of the Tom Hardy movies? I'm pretty sure you've at least seen the first one, right?
I've seen the I haven't seen the most recent one. Um, but I liked him. Um, as I've said numerous times before, my initial criteria is, did I enjoy it enough for what I paid monetarily to see it? And I did for both of them. They were great movies. From what I know of the character, I think he did a good job. Um, Now I don't know what if that's writing or not, because it's tough to really tell what's the actor's portrayal of it versus the writer or director. But I liked it. Um, I liked all the movies I've seen so far. Um, you know, I don't. I think I I like the comedic aspects. I think it's because when you see that character, you don't expect, and I think that's why, to me, like I think why they hit a little different because you don't expect him to be a funny character.
Mm-hmm.
You expect him to be this serious business, type of character, and then you get these funny bits that just kind of like hits you out of left field. So, I hope to see the most recent one at some point. Um, I don't know if it's
It's
any
good.
good.
It's better than the second one, in my opinion.
Okay.
um, but yeah, like it. It's like it's more like it's nothing special, but I just really do love seeing the movies. Like they're just something to like. If you want, it's like the peak of like entertainment. If you just want to like whittle away the hours, if you just want to like watch something, be entertained, and then just like move on. It does have its special moments, um, and they're entertaining, and that's all that really matters. Nobody wants to go like see something and then it's just like not good and then just boring. I'd rather have a film be bad but entertaining all the way through rather than just be bad all around in general. And that's not to say that they're bad at all. I personally really love the movies. Way better than like it gives Venom a lot of representation, which I love. That's all that really matters. The more representation that he gets, the more chances there are that like one day, once Venom returns to the big screen, we'll really see him at his maximum capacity. And if Tom Hardy decides to come back for that with, his own Venom, where they're, I guess, kind of character progress to the point where they go to the Venom that we all know and love, then all the more power to him, man. I just love seeing him in general. It's great to see him like just fool around and just mess around with like everything when everything goes terrible whenever they're involved for some reason. And heads are bitten off cleanly.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I was so excited when he made his freaking appearance at the end of uh Carnage and you saw him go into the MCU and you thought that he was going to show up for No Way Home, but he didn't. He showed up as a post credits, but it was only like him talking about Thanos and then just going back.
No, we just got here.
Yeah. He did end up leaving a piece of himself there though, so I mean, I don't know. Something to think about. What to talk about next?
Could talk about the Dark Ages.
What, do you want to rant about the Dark Ages?
I would like to rant about the Dark Ages.
Alright,
So
go ahead.
basically, there's this stupid idiot named Matt Gargan, formerly known as the Scorpion. All of this was a bunch of very poor decisions and poor writers leading up to easily the worst Venom arc in all of comics. And I can't even say it's an arc because it was there forever. But like, okay, I forget when this was around, like what time the comics were. I don't pay attention to that stuff. But basically, at some point, the symbiote, Eddie had found out that he had cancer. I don't think it's ever specified what kind of cancer. And he found out that the symbiote was hiding that from him so it could feed off the cancer cells, right? And that had broken his trust with the symbiote. So he sold it on evil eBay. And then it got picked up
Oh,
by
I know. I don't recall that part. Actually, I don't even. I didn't even know it at all. Evil
Yeah.
eBay.
it was some sort of, he literally just pawned it off. And then he
That's
went
stupid.
down he went okay, so we'll break off from the actual suit a second. Eddie himself went on a symbiote killing tirade. He killed Hybrid, which, number one, what the heck, man? That's
Didn't
just
do anything
rude.
wrong.
Yeah, Hybrid was a hero. Hybrid was literally a hero.
Wait, how did
I
he
don't know.
kill him?
He set him on fire, and he killed the dude that Hybrid was they killed the cop that Hybrid was, heroing around with. He set them all on fire and they all died.
What? How? As a human?
Yeah, as a human. He literally just suited up like the Punisher. He had like sonic grenades, flamethrowers. Stupid writing. Anyway.
What the Scarlet?
Anyway. So after, I forget when that is in the timeline, but then at some point, I think it's the Italian mob gets a hold of Venom, and Venom still has that like hero-ish kind of complex where he's like, "Hey, we're only going to kill people who deserve it, right?" But the mafia boss, he gives Venom to his son, and his son just doesn't care. His son just does not care. So his son just kills a guy that looks like Spider-Man. He's just dressed up as Spider-Man, right? It's just a cosplayer. And Venom is like, "You kind of suck." So he leaves him mid-jump Like the symbiote bounces off of him
I know
mid
that
jump. Like
falls to his death.
yeah, he falls to his death. Yeah. And then what is it? I forget how, but then the symbiote somehow ends up with Matt Gargan, and then Gargan. These timelines are going to get all jumbled, but like at some point he becomes a part of the Dark Avengers, pretending to be Spider-Man. He with the Dark Avengers, they invade Asgard. He eats a whole bunch of Asgardians. He gets his tongue ripped out by Namor. He gets a poodle thrown in his eye by Bullseye.
Huh.
Yeah, it was atrocious. It's so bad, so bad. And then what was it? Cut back to Eddie. Eddie is at a homeless shelter after killing. He killed Hybrid. I think he technically killed Toxin. Which, if you know anything about symbiotes, that is beyond impossible.
Why is he going after the good ones?
Exactly. And then what was it? I think he killed one. Did he kill Scorn? I think he killed Scorn. But basically now he's homeless, and he's just accepted the fact that he's gonna die with cancer. Mr. Negative, he pats him on the back. He's like, "Hey man, it's okay. Like we'll figure something out." And then
And
Mr.
thus,
Negative's powers, like they mix with the remnants of the suit of the Venom suit, left in Eddie's body, and he explodes into a bunch of white symbioteness, and he becomes Anti-Venom. And he goes on a interesting tirade where he just goes around curing people of their diseases. So he's a good guy now. He's just a full-on good guy, except he's kind of not, because when he sees Spider-Man, he's like, "I have to cure you of your powers," and he just tries to stab Spider-Man, and he's like, "Be healed," and Spider-Man's like, "Ah, the radiation, it's leaving me, my powers." So yeah, that's a thing. And then, what is it? Eddie meets Gargan, and they get in a fight. Gargan gets the tar beat out of him, and then was it
pure
Osborn?
pestilence.
Yeah. I think Norman Osborn injects the Venom symbiote with something, so now he's resistant. Not like fully resistant, but he's got some resistance to anti-venom, and then he also gets imbued with the scorpion tail, and then they just kind of stab Eddie. And that was basically all of Spider-Man, or not Spider-Man. That's all of Venom's inclusion in Spider Island. I think Gargan ends up dying, and then the symbiote gets pawned off to the U.S. government, where it is then bonded with Flash Thompson, who is, and I will say this right now, the single best host for the Venom symbiote that ever has been and ever will be, because he is that awesome. So basically,
Is this the end of the Dark Ages, or are we still in the
yeah,
Dark
that's the end of the
Ages?
Dark Ages. That's the end of the Dark Ages.
Okay, just wanted to make a note.
Okay. Anyone else want to say something? I know I've talked for most of this podcast.
Questions, concerns.
Yeah.
Apple
I'm
freezer.
still waiting for my cheeseburger.
I'm sure Phoenix is on it.
We good?
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, continue.
Anyway, okay. So Flash Thompson bonds with the suit, and he, instead of everyone else, because everyone else let their hatred for Spider-Man fuel it, let it feel more justified in its actions, he was like, "Hey man, you're pretty dark. Are you okay?" And the symbiote's like, "What'd you say to me? What? What?" And like the symbiote's just confused because it's never had someone genuinely try and care for it before, right? So the entirety of Agent Venom is essentially just Venom coming to terms and having Flash help him, or help it, uh just let go of the hatred that it had for Spidey, right? And the cool thing is, we never get to see that until a whole different series where Agent Venom became Space Knight Venom and became part of the Guardians of the Galaxy. But we'll get to that. Well, we get to that. So with 8, you just have a fine helping of brains there, Zombie.
No, he
No,
finally got his burger.
Cheeto Puffs.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So, Flash, is only allowed to use the symbiote on U.S. government authorized missions, right? And during this time, Eddie had lost the anti-venom symbiote due to Gargan, and he now has the toxin symbiote. And this is where they turn a symbiote that had a distinguished character and actually wanted to be good into a villain, because we can't have nice things. So Flash is pretending to be a high school gym teacher, right? I forgot a mild detail. Flash lost his legs.
That's pretty minor.
Yeah. So he lost his legs. So he's in a wheelchair whenever he's not Agent Venom. So he works undercover at a school, right? And I don't quite remember the significance of these events, but we'll do this one first because it's the most tame. Toxin breaks into the school. It starts. He doesn't. I don't think he hurts anyone, but he just starts causing a massive commotion. People are scared. So Agent Venom comes out, shoots him square in the face, and Toxin doesn't care because he's Toxin. And
What does he shoot him with?
a pistol.
What?
Just
Really? Come on.
yeah.
You-
Like that. Yeah.
It's literally a guy holding a pistol to a tank with its cannon aimed right at him.
So
Come on, man.
Flash and Toxin are talking, and Toxin knows that the Venom symbiote is actually being suppressed with a special type of neuro fluid, right? Like it's actively suppressing the symbiote's power, so the symbiote can't do what it can't work to its fullest potential, but it it's supposed to help it not break out of control and kill people, right? And Toxin is like, oh, they're holding you down. They're like, what else does he say? I forget. But basically, he's saying you're much stronger than this. I want that Venom. I want to kill the Venom that's at his best. And I'm pretty sure Flash Thompson is just like, no. And then he shoots Toxin in the face again. And I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure the next panel is just Agent Venom getting flung through a brick wall. They have a bit of a scuffle. Agent Venom, he somehow repels Toxin. I don't think it was through loud noises, but I think it was through some sort of special grenade that the government gave it. Flash. I don't know. Anyway, so fast forward a little bit. The Venom symbiote goes to Hell with Flash Thompson. They actively travel to Hell. They meet, what's his name? Is his name David Hellstrom, I think? But basically, he's the son of Mephisto. So he is incredibly powerful. He kind of kicks their ass until they're just like, nuh-uh. And he's like, what? And they literally grab him with a tentacle, do the Hulk thing before the Hulk thing was a meme, and then he just kind of gives up. But while they were down there,
he meant donkey. He meant donkey. Relax. It was donkey.
oh,
Come on, no.
oh boy. All right. Well, you know what? I get one slip up.
Everybody gets one per month.
per month. Anyway, so
it was donkey. You donkey.
Yeah. So basically, all that stuff happens. At some point, the Venom symbiote gets corrupted with hell energy, and it gives birth to a new symbiote named Mania. Well, the symbiote's name isn't Mania, but the fusion of what was her name? I don't know. It was like Andy something. But she and the symbiote fuse, they became Mania, and she has the power to control demons. That's not really important, even though you think it would be. And then after that, you get into the Space Knight Venom arc, where Flash and the symbiote are just they're just parts of the Guardians of the Galaxy, and they're like, hey, we just got to keep kind of figuring out who we are. And like the symbiote straight up says, it has never felt more safe, more comfortable, and more secure with any other host than Flash Thompson. And that's how much Flash has been willing to try and help the symbiote get over its hatred for Spider-Man. And towards the end of the series, there's a bunch of little stuff. Like they go to Clintar, and Flash has to fight like a Clintar symbiote by himself at one point, and he doesn't. I don't think he wins, but he doesn't die, so that is impressive alone. And then I think the Venom symbiote actually like. I think it like tears apart like 3 hallways worth of symbiotes to try and get back to him, so that's pretty cool. But eventually they come back to Earth, they meet Peter, and they're like, hey, we're sorry. And Peter,
that whole journey.
Peter
all of
is
that.
just like, what? Huh?
All of that just to
Like-
go back and tell the one person you hated the most, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So Venom and Flash are Agent Venom for a hot while, I think. Like I think what was it? 2014 where Green Goblin fused with Carnage?
Yep,
Something like
that
that.
was the fated day when they decided to
It-
go back to basics for a little while.
Yep.
Wasn't very
Yep.
long-lived.
Not really. During all that time, Eddie stayed bonded with Toxin, and there was actually like a little subplot where Carnage tried to wake I think it was Dagon, but essentially it's Cthulhu, right? And for some
Wait.
reason,
Okay, if we're starting to get in there, Dagon is nothing like Cthulhu.
well, that's what they called it, but it's
like they are 2 totally different beings.
I know that Dagon is a follower of Cthulhu, but for the sake of the story, they called the being Dagon, but it resembled more like Cthulhu. Anyway, this is my episode, Bones.
Dagon's small eldritch creature.
Yeah. So they tried to summon the eldritch creature, and Carnage is like, look, I brought you back, now grant me my wish. And it literally just flicks him off panel, and we never see him again. So I like to imagine he just got splat against a wall.
He died. That's it.
Yeah. And then Toxin, the random coworker that Eddie has been with for this entire journey, and I think, what was it? Another symbiote. I think it was one of the Foundation 5. Was it Lasher or was it Phage? I don't know. All 3 of them just kind of combine, and they become this giant like spiral of holy light somehow, and they banish it back to the depths. And that was the first death of Toxin, like quote unquote canonically. So Eddie is back to now being symbioteless, and then Green Goblin decides to bond with Carnage. Where he got it, I don't know. It was probably sometime after Sentry tore Carnage in half. But
it was a sad day.
yeah, so Eddie finds out that Green Goblin has now fused with Carnage. He wants to stop it, but he doesn't have Toxin anymore, so he's like, okay, I gotta go get the Venom symbiote back. So
That's really the audacity, man.
I'm not gonna lie, this is probably the biggest L the Venom symbiote has ever committed, because it tries to bond to both of them at once, because it literally has it longs for what it felt with Eddie, but it knows that it has a better relationship with Flash. And while Eddie and Flash are just sitting there like punching each other inside the Venom symbiote. A giant vat of anti-Venom symbiote, because the thing with the anti-Venom symbiote, it wasn't alive, right? It was not sentient. It couldn't do anything on its own. It only worked with Brock. Well, the anti-Venom symbiote vault, like vat of goo, falls over, and Flash forcefully unbonds himself from Venom and pushes Eddie, and the vat falls on him. So now he becomes Agent Anti-Venom, right? And the first thing he does, because Venom like tries to rush over and help him, the first thing he does is like, no, stop, you'll hurt yourself, right? So they're talking about like, look, I can't bond with you ever again. Clearly, I mean, look at me. You know what I mean? And Venom, understandably, is pretty heartbroken by this. Like his little goo heart is pretty shattered right now. And I think Eddie just doesn't care.
Of course.
yeah, Eddie's not a great person, but we always knew that. So Venom's like, all right, we'll continue to do good in your name, and then we'll just make sure that we never bond again. And then like 5 issues later, Flash dies.
Yep.
Yeah,
Tragically at the hands of the Red Goblin.
And the craziest part, it wasn't even at the hands of the Red Goblin. He literally died because he got in a fight with Red Goblin, beat the sleeves off him, made him run, and then he had to use up the rest of his agent anti-venom like symbiote to heal everyone else because Red Goblin was a little bit of a prankster and decided to stab everyone and
Yeah, he
leave
did
bits
not
of
care
him
about
in there.
casualties. Yeah, he did
Yeah.
not care about casualties. He even crashed out later when Spider-Man and Venom rebonded for a bit. Like Goblin just started throwing bombs all over the place.
Yeah.
He did not care.
So that tragically ended with the death of Flash. After a little bit, Eddie and the symbiote were like, "All right, you're not as good as Flash. We can both agree on that. You are actively worse, but we can make this work, and we can respect him in his name." And so the very start of the next Venom like comic run had them break out of a facility dressed as Agent Venom, and that was really cool. That was awesome. And then we went into all the other stuff that I'm not a crazy big fan of, but it's still pretty good.
Dark Ages 2? No.
No, we're not that bad.
Actually, given what's happening right now, we definitely are coming up for a new Dark Ages.
Ugh. Okay. Anyway, questions, comments, and concerns. I've been talking a lot, and my throat
I
hurts.
love how this went from going from the Dark Ages, and then you continued on with the Redemption arc.
Nice.
That's all
What
your
else?
questions and concerns? I think the silence is enough, for the most part.
All right. Well, we've been doing a lot of comic stuff. What else do you want to talk about, Mr. Hostman?
Well, we already talked about the movies. We talked a little bit about the games. Thank you, Surveyor Phoenix. I greatly appreciate you telling us how many minutes we have left. Man. If there's a Venom I definitely wanted to see more of, it was, freaking, stop distracting me, Phoenix. It was, Tony Todd's Venom.
Oh yeah.
His
I
voice
feel
was magnificent. And it is a
I
crime and an absolute shame that we won't be getting more of it. Like, just more of Tony Todd in
yeah.
general. I really respected his career. Like, I loved the Candyman movies. Like, it was...
Mhm.
Oh, man. And like, the announcement that they said when he was going to be voicing Venom was so cool. Big shame as well that we didn't get as much Venom screen time as we should have gotten in the game. but like still, what we got was really good. And I really wish we got more of that Venom. Because, like, as generic as it was, he was just basically, like... He was basically a pseudo, like, Web of Shadows Venom to the point of, like, taking over the city and all that. But still, it was just, like, I would have liked to see more of him. And I don't know if they're going to make a Venom game eventually. That's entirely in their hands at this point. Don't know what Insomniac's been cooking up. They've been silent for a while. But yeah, Tony Todd Venom was something I really liked. And that's all I have to say on that. I don't know if you've ever freaking played Spider-Man 2 Zombie. It's probably just ruined the whole thing for you now, but
No, I haven't really played any of the Spider-Man games.
yeah. I imagine like it's like something just gotta kind of get into. It's just
Well, I
there.
also don't have a PlayStation, so
That's also a good
Tech-
counterpoint.
It's
Actually,
also
it's
on
on
PC now as
PC.
well. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm
No
saying.
excuses
It's
anymore.
it's on
except
PC.
the excuse is money.
That's fair.
I would probably get the Spider-Man games on PC for mods. Mods change everything, and mods make
There,
life more whimsy and fun.
there is a mod that changes Venom instead of the Insomniac design. It's like a 1-for-1 the Todd McFarlane design. And while I'm not a crazy big fan of that design, it looks so good. It looks so good in the game, dude.
Yeah, I think I saw a thumbnail for that on YouTube somewhere. I just never saw it, but yeah, from what I saw, it looked pretty good. I guess final question I should probably ask is, what do you look forward for Venom in the future? Right now, the biggest relevance he has is obviously maybe the future Insomniac game that will be made of him. Maybe, I don't know. But right now, like, his biggest uh spotlight is in Rivals. Like many of the characters, he's memed. He is a fun character to play. I've been getting extremely good at him. Uh, but like in general, aside from that, what do you look forward for Venom in the future? Like anything, games, movies, anything like that.
I hope we get. I don't even care who makes it. I just hope we get a game with Venom in the style of Prototype, where we have like a weapon wheel that lets us choose the different symbiote formations we can attack with. I would personally, I would personally love a game more centered on Agent Venom than standard Venom, but I love both. Either is fine.
Bones, you looking forward to anything for the future for Venom?
Eh, whatever.
Another movie it is then. I will have another.
I mean, I guess I'd like to see more of the other symbiotes. Because I mean, I know that we've seen, Venom and Carnage and Riot, but I know there's others. And even if it's just like a little quick, like a little quick scene that shows like, well, there's all these others that we found, like or some movie or something that shows, hey, well, we've been looking into these, and we found all of these others, and you just have a little scene as somebody's like scrolling through, looking at files, and it shows like all the other ones they found. You know, um, I think would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I think more exposure for the other symbiotes would be very good as well. Um,
We need Toxin to come back. Oh,
how
like
would
no
you like him
bars?
to come back?
No bars. I almost love Toxin more than I love Venom. I love Venom solely for his design and his character, but Toxin had so much potential. He had so much lore behind him before even being born. He was so cool. He was the first genuinely heroic symbiote with no questions asked. He didn't want to hurt anyone. He didn't want like, oh, we need more Toxin. We need good Toxin love. That's what we need.
What would you like to see him in then? A show? A movie?
Anything does not matter. Does not matter because the comics aren't doing him justice. But like, I don't care if he's in a show where I'd love a show where he's the main character. I don't care if there's a show where he's a support character for Venom. I don't care if we got a game where he's the main character and then the final boss could be Carnage, which is his dad. You know, that'd be peak.
Mm. Interesting that, well, I guess it doesn't really matter. Like, the whole thing is, like, Venom is a franchise in general, and Toxin obviously falls under that category.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's fair. I just want to see it expand more in general. Like, I know, like, he already has a good following. I do want the general, like, bigger populace to see more of
Mm-hmm.
Venom and what his franchise offers, because it's more than just two goofballs on a journey, or a freaking ill son who crazy dad took an alien in and wanted to use it to help him, just bond an alien to your son, or best bonds that have been unfortunately severed. Like, it is more, and I do want to see, like, different aspects, because as much flack as we give the new Spider-Man shows Venom, it's different, and we have little to no information about it at all.
That's true. That's true.
What will it be when it starts? Whatever it is, I don't know. We'll have to see. I guess with that said, though, I think we've covered most of the bases. If there's anything else that we left out, be sure to chew Grim out on it, because he's definitely been spearheading this episode a lot.
Hey, I can talk as long as you want. You guys are the ones putting a time restraint.
You want to go another 30 minutes?
I could go another 3 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Okay, I was gonna say, I don't think there's that many googly-eyed gifts for me and Phoenix to send back and forth. So
I get
that's
it.
what
I
we've
get
been
it.
doing. We've been looking up googly-eyed gifts and sitting in back and forth. So
Ugh.
But yeah, I mean, okay. Oh, there's also the fact that we have another thing to get to in a bit. But yeah,
Wink,
they
wink,
don't know
nudge,
that.
nudge.
Yeah, they definitely don't know what that is. Anyways, that's it, I suppose. We've come to the end of our time. Thank you for joining us on this sticky journey. Looking through well, most of Venom's important past and pretty good future as it stands. You know, can't wait to see what happens next for the Lethal Protector. Uh, what is the thing again, Phoenix? I don't know, I'm stumping. You see, you should just let me host every week, then I could get this down to a T. But anyways, yeah, that's it. If you want to learn more about everything, go check out the link tree. I don't know if it works or not. Go hassle Phoenix about it. Merch, we still don't have that. That should be a thing, though. Don't know when it'll happen. Maybe you should tell more people about this podcast. Maybe then, the more attention we'll have, that definitely means we'll have something goofy up in the store ready for you. And I think, judging by my invisible watch on my wrist, that should be it. Right, I've covered everything. That's the outro. Somebody should say something goofy now so I don't sound stupid.
something.
We
Bye.